A large part of this AtmaNirbhar Bharat also is about easing the credit flow to MSME, something that you touched upon. How do you think this will play out?
I think there are three components to this in terms of credit. I think one is the cost of credit, the second is the flow of credit, and the third is making sure that the momentum of credit or the velocity of money is maintained. I think all three have to be in sync. By lending the large, I would say, package in terms of guarantee support, honestly, the government has done its bit. We now need to make sure that the banks truly are able to lend this out. And again, if I look at it, this is government guaranteed money. So can the banks help in terms of providing it to business at an even more affordable rate? Because at the bottom, this is government guaranteed credit. Yes, you must recover your cost of operations and have a reasonable spread. But virtually your risk is coming down to a very, very marginal. You must provide some risk, but at the base, this is government money that the government is standing at your back, as it were. So low cost credit, quick disbursement of credit, and making sure that the chain of credit flow goes unimpaired and unhindered, I think is what business and the banks will have to work towards.
So on one hand, we are talking about a self-reliant India. On the other, we talk about opening up the economy. Some critics argue that this self-reliance could also lead to an amount of some kind of isolationism, in the Indian economy when it comes to trade with other countries. How do you react to this?
Not at all. I don't think that is true at all. I think from several counts. I think indeed, if I look at markets, India is a very large market. And as we head towards a 5 trillion economy, and I'm clear this country is going to head towards a 5 trillion economy. As it heads towards the 5 trillion economy, the domestic market is going to get bigger and bigger, which means domestic companies will have a large space to operate in. Now, in terms of how they balance domestic production and domestic supply with access to global markets is something that they will have to carefully work out. If the feeling is that they have taken it slightly easy, I'm not saying they have, this is an assessment they have to do, they will then have to see whether this particular item could be indigenized rather than relied on as an import item always. I think this is the first step that we need to do. And I'm again hearing on news shows that talk about APIs, that talk about components for certain manufacturing industries and so on. So I think a relook will be taken. But I think AtmaNirbhar to me also means at the end of the day, with all these things, your own strength and leveraging global strength, how do you look at the global market? And how do you stand as a player in the global market? Because that accelerates your path to the 5 trillion economy. Of course, there are several other drivers for the 5 trillion economy, but in the context of AtmaNirbhar Bharat, I think that accelerates your path, a larger marketplace. See, other parts of AtmaNirbhar, as I can see, clearly are getting your infrastructure in place. Again, rapid progress has been made, but we could look at same thing that we probably could do in the manufacturing side. What are the soft issues that are a challenge on the infrastructure front? How do we address them? I think this is something that we could do apart from rolling out infrastructure. I see one challenge, you talked about deficit and funding. I think one challenge that we will hear increasingly in the next 1 year is how do we meet our infrastructure aspirations given the challenges that we will have on the fiscal front? This is something that the government will need to think through. And as I said, maybe it's time for a new normal, not look at old concepts of deficit financing and so on, as long as we are sure that we can keep the fabric intact. So there are, I would think, many aspects to AtmaNirbhar Bharat. India is a land of opportunity. So there is going to be no shortage of things to do, which is unlike several other countries. They are, in a way, searching for what is it that you can do to drive growth. We don't have to do that. We have unfinished agendas in almost all areas that we look at, whether it is providing housing, to our masses, whether it is providing robust infrastructure, whether it is keeping up the infrastructure chain, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is food products. I think we have enough to do to grow at rapid rates. By rapid rates, I would think the table stakes are double-digit growth for a very long period of time. By a very long period of time, I mean upwards of 15 years, 10 to 15 years for a minimum, but upwards of 15 years. Because that's what you will need to truly transform this country.
So what I hear is you saying that let's not worry so much about the fiscal deficit at the moment and look at creating demand. You touched upon these sectors. How do we divide these sectors? Real estate has been a problem for the past many years now. Construction is not picking up, construction activity. So how do we do all this?
I think that's one sector which needs probably very close attention. I think industry leaders are giving solutions on this front. I would think that the challenge has to be simplified. The challenge has to be broken up into urban challenge and a challenge outside urban areas. Once you do that, I think the challenge outside urban areas is easy. Let us concentrate on that and quickly fix that, because that is fixable very easily. I think as far as the urban challenge is concerned, I think people who are the experts in this business should come together. I've heard some of the leaders talk about a one-time correction in terms of this marketplace. I have not applied my mind to this, but clearly this is an important part of the economy, and we will need to address this in due course. But to me, there are a lot of other things that can do, which itself could drive momentum, and this problem then could become a smaller problem than what it appears to be today.
I hear you say that, in this new normal, old economic theories don't apply. I come back to the fiscal deficit question. Do you think that it is time to throw the fiscal caution to the wind somewhat, and really concentrate on reviving the mind?
I will not use that phrase. Concentrate on revival, yes. Estimate as to what the economic fabric can bear, and go to that extent. And I think we will find, a lot of times we are looking at this number from the point of view, what is X going to say? What is Y going to say about this? And this could be, what is the rating agency going to say? What is, the global lenders, what are they going to say, and so on. I think to me, these are all secondary. At this critical time, we need to, make an assessment ourselves. What is it that we can bear? Based on that, take a call.